Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Dansley, and I'm in Sales and Marketing for Customer Dynamics. I'd like to welcome you and thank you for taking the time today to attend this webinar, Driving Business with Dashboards. The goal of Customer Relationship Management, or CRM, is to empower ourselves to make good business decisions. That's great, but so what? Why are we hosting this webinar? Prior to using Microsoft CRM, many of our clients shared with us some of the struggles they had with their data. So the purpose in seeking us out was to help them find a solution that would help them by giving them immediate and real-time access to the data in a centralized system. Also, the accuracy and consistency of the data needed to be increased, and this is possible through standardization and consistent formatting within CRM. And then another benefit of Microsoft CRM is that it increased the efficiency of their processes and their tracking and reporting of their information. I've spoken to many people who have had bad experiences where they implemented and invested in a CRM system only to have it make them do more work. The purpose of CRM is to increase efficiency and reduce manual tasks and processes. Throughout this webinar, I will show you how the tools in Microsoft CRM provide these advantages and why it is important to you. So our agenda today, I want to address common issues that we experience, like the example I gave with our clients. They struggled with their data. And then we will touch on the benefits of using Microsoft CRM and demonstrate the tools that it provides. So again, the purpose is to empower people to make good business decisions and act on the data. So again, common issues faced by businesses regarding data include limited access. Limited access to data in real time or any time. The data was inaccurate or inconsistent. And then there were inefficient processes for tracking and reporting on that data. A typical process, when you need a report, you have to ask your sales team for the report. They need to take some time to retrieve this information and gather their spreadsheets, and then they send it up to management. And at that point, it's up to management to interpret these various reports to come up with something that's applicable, something that's actionable. And so these issues, they're critical issues. If you don't know that there's a problem, you won't be able to fix it. And how do you know you're not repeating that same mistake over and over again? So the type of data you have can either put you at risk or mitigate your risk. So again, the purpose of CRM is to mitigate your risk, and it will empower you by providing immediate and real-time access to the data. Standardized structure and formatting in CRM will help keep the data consistent, as well as providing standard processes to increase the efficiency. Now I'd like to take time to demonstrate to you the different dashboard features within Microsoft CRM and the functionality and capability built within each tool. And so for the first portion of the demonstration, I want to take you into the dashboard overview and show you the basic features of the dashboard. Once we have done that, I want to show you how easy it is to build a dashboard. Oftentimes when you're dealing with software, you have to rely on IT resources and their availability to help you create different things within the software. So the purpose of this, again, is just to show you how easy it is to build and customize a dashboard. And then to wrap up the demonstration, I want to show you the other analytical tools that are provided by Microsoft CRM. So again, the first demonstration I want to take you into is the dashboard overview. So here you can see that there's 4 basic windows: a sales pipeline, leads by source campaign, and cases by priority. So we have a window for sales, marketing, and customer service. Then I have a personal window here with a list of my activities. So first off, the purpose of these dashboards is to give us a quick snapshot of every area of our company. And so we can quickly see from a high level what is happening. However, it may not be enough information to be able to act on, or I may need more detail. So what I can do within Microsoft CRM is I can drill down further to obtain additional information. So within the qualification stage of my sales pipeline, I want to see how much revenue is being contributed, or potential revenue is being contributed, by the individual salespeople or the owners. And I want to see that in a pie chart. So I can go ahead and click that, and it will break it down to each individual salesperson and the potential revenue that they will be generating from these opportunities. For example, we can see that Jill Frank has the greatest portion of this pie chart. So I'd like to see which potential customers are involved in this stage of the sales cycle and who she is working with. And here you can see the data. There's a lot of information, so there's some overlap, so it's not very easy to see. But what we can do, we can easily expand this out so it's much easier to read and interpret. And so we can see that there are 8 opportunities in the qualification stage of Jill's sales cycle, or her pipeline. And we can see which accounts will generate the greatest amount of revenue and which ones will generate a little bit of revenue. And moving on, one thing that the visualization allows us to do is allows us to make a quick analysis or judgment on what we see in the data that's provided. So over in the customer service window, the cases by priority, we can see that every day, as far as the number of cases, is pretty consistent until we get to this last day here. There's a significant increase in cases. And so what this will allow us to do is allow us to do additional research to see what it was that created so many cases on that particular day. Was it a faulty product? Was it delivery issues? What was it that caused this escalation in cases? So again, the purpose is to give us a quick overview of every area of the company. Also, one thing that I want to mention, everything on this dashboard, everything within Microsoft CRM is updated in real time. So you have real-time access. So in that regard, if I have an activity here, all I have to do is select the activity and see which activity it is without leaving my dashboard area. But I can go ahead, okay, I know that I've completed this phone call, so go ahead and mark complete. As I mark that complete, that phone call has gone away. And also for this, let's select this task here. I know that this particular customer, we've completed their evaluation plan. So I can go ahead and mark it complete from here without opening any other windows. So I can go through my list of tasks every day without leaving my dashboard, and I can see what is happening in the company. But again, this is very high level information, so if we want to drill down further, we can. Here I want to pull up the marketing dashboard. And we have a lot of clients who, prior to Microsoft CRM, were unable to track leads from trade shows and tie them to the associated revenue. So from this window, we can see what our budget was, what our actual cost was, and the revenue that was generated by each campaign. So with this cost, it doesn't show us which campaign it was. So again, we want to drill down further and get this information. We can see the different costs for each campaign. We can see that the web campaign that has generated the greatest amount of revenue, it was only a $15,000 expense. So there's a huge return on this investment. We can also see the co-branding. That didn't cost much. It was free. We partnered up with somebody, and it generated a fair amount of revenue. So from this information, we can accurately say that the web campaign, it cost this much, it generated this many leads, and this is the revenue that's been generated so far. So very important to see this information and have it available immediately. It doesn't do anybody any good if a report is asked for, some information is asked for, and we have to ask for more time to put it together, or ask if we can turn it in the end of the day or tomorrow morning. And we want to have access to this information right away. Now I'd like to quickly jump over to the sales performance by territory. Again, on the dashboard overview, it showed us a simple sales pipeline, but it really didn't give us a whole lot of information, and it's not too helpful if we have people across the country selling. So this example, I've broken it into 3 territories. We have a West territory, Central, and East, and a pipeline for each territory. Here we can easily compare each pipeline and see which areas of the country or which territories are being more productive and generating the greatest amount of potential revenue. So again, we have the different pipelines, but it doesn't allow us a direct side-by-side comparison. So that's why we have this opportunity by territory. Go ahead and expand this. And here we can easily see that the West region doesn't have as much potential revenue opportunity as the East and Central. So it may take additional research and insight to see why there is a big difference here from the West to the East and Central. What do we need to do so that we can help the West increase their opportunity revenue to the point where they're consistent with the East and Central? So again, the importance here is to give us that instant visual so that we can make appropriate decisions and take appropriate action. So now that I've shown you a few dashboard examples, I'd like to show you how easy it is to build these dashboards according to your needs and preferences without waiting for an IT resource to become available. Go ahead and we'll click on New in the dashboard view. Here we want to select the 3-column overview dashboard. And for this example, we'll go ahead and call it our sales management dashboard. Here, a couple items that we want to see right off the bat. We want to see where we're at in comparison to our goals. So this gives us a comparison of each region as well as the overall corporate revenue goal. And as a sales manager, we want to see who our leaders are. So go ahead and we'll select. And we also want to see who has the most potential in revenue within their pipeline. Again, select opportunity, open, and leaderboard. Great. Here we can see where we are in regard to our goals. We can see who's closed the most revenue, who has the greatest amount of potential revenue to close. Then for fun, let's just say, you know what, I need access to my website. So here we have, obviously we have different options. We have charts, lists, an iframe, and a web resource. So here we want to do an iframe where we embed our website within the dashboard. So just have to input the URL and we're done. And as easy as that, we've created our dashboard with a few windows that we want to see, our goals, our leaders as far as closed opportunities, and our leaders as far as open opportunities. And then we have our website. So again, you can see how easy it was to create these dashboards, and I didn't need anyone specific or an IT resource to do this. I'm no genius, and I was able to do it pretty quick. Now I'd like to show you the different reports and other tools that CRM provides. We'll go ahead and jump into that right now. So within Microsoft CRM, again, there's several reports that come out of the box, but it's very easy to customize these reports or create new ones. So for this example, I want to select my sales pipeline. And what it has done, it'll pull up all the potential, the total potential revenue that I have in my pipeline. But let's say that, that doesn't do a whole lot for me. So let's go ahead and break it down into sales process or parts of the sales process. So this is broken down into 2 phases. We have the discovery phase and the proposal phase. We'll go ahead and drill down further. This is very similar to what we saw in the dashboards. It allows you to drill down to gather additional information and access additional data. This has provided me with the actual opportunity, the sales stage, and revenue information. So there's still some information that it's lacking, but if there is more information that I want to see, all I have to do from the report is click on the actual opportunity, and it will open up a new window containing all of the data associated to that opportunity. If I want to see account history or details, closed activities, what has been done on this account, what quotes are tied to this account, etc. So here I can see all of that information. So again, a lot of products and CRM products out there provide reporting, but it's a simple read-only form. Within Microsoft CRM, as you have seen, it allows you to drill down further for additional detail and information. Now I'd like to jump over to my opportunities view and show you a few other tools that Microsoft CRM provides. Now here, if you're managing a sales team or your own sales process, sometimes you have a lot of opportunities that are open that you're working. This is a lot of information, and it's not easy to distinguish between each opportunity. And you have your column headings that you can filter on from high to low, A to Z, pretty typical like an Excel spreadsheet, but also there are charts on the side of the window that you can use to filter this data in your main view. So for example, if I wanted to see which opportunities were tied to the negotiation phase of my sales pipeline, all I have to do is click on this area and it filters this information. And we can see that there are 5 opportunities that are in the negotiation phase of my sales cycle. I can even go further and see who the owners are. So there's Mark, Terry, and Jill. And from here I can drill down again and do additional filtering on this list in the main view. Here we can see that 3 of the 5 opportunities belong to Jill. She is the salesperson for those opportunities. So a lot of functionality built within CRM in every view, not just on the dashboards. So right now I'll go ahead and refresh my open opportunities and show you some of the exporting features that are provided from CRM. Obviously we'll export that to Excel, and this will give me a couple options. And what's interesting, a lot of products will export information and data, but it's a full-on spreadsheet, pretty much the same view as we have here. But to make it applicable, make it fit my business needs, I can go ahead and select a pivot table and choose which information I want to display. So go through this process here. And for this webinar, I've already created a pivot table to show you a quick example. So within the pivot table, one of the main items I would like to see is total revenue. So I'll go ahead and put that in my value field. I want to change this to sum, and I want to make it show in currency. Let's go ahead and do that. Then I want to see the probability. How much revenue is tied to each stage of my sales cycle or my sales pipeline. And here I can see that information. I can even go back. If you're familiar with pivot tables, you can create all kinds of charts and graphs. So go ahead, choose that. There's our total revenue tied to each stage of our sales cycle. We can even do pie charts if we want. And there's so many options within Microsoft CRM that allow you to access the data and process it in a way that is actionable or beneficial to you. Now, another situation, one last situation as we conclude. We've had several clients that have had a nice database like this containing their data, but they were unable to filter or target specific individuals or groups when they want to perform their outreach activities. And so typically the process, they would just create a general message and send it out to the masses. We know that this is not as effective as we would like. In an ideal situation, we would be able to target certain individuals and create very specific collateral for those individuals. We know that response rates are much higher when your message is targeted to certain people. So within Microsoft CRM, I'll jump over to Contacts. I want to show you that this Advanced Find feature will help you do that. So go ahead and click on Advanced Find. We want to create a new view. Now from here, we can choose from several different criteria what we want to target this list on or base this view on. So for this, just to be quick, I'm going to choose those contacts who have a birthday, or I want to see if anyone has a birthday this month. I can go ahead and see those results and see if that's satisfactory or not. Great. So I see that there are 3 individuals who have a birthday this month. So what I want to do, I want to go ahead and save this and save it as birthday. We'll say April birthdays. As you can see, we're able to very easily create this list based on this criteria of having a birthday this month. Again, any other criteria, it's just as easy. Just because it was birthdays doesn't mean that makes it any easier. It's very simple to choose which criteria you want and to create that report. So in summary, we've demonstrated how Microsoft CRM empowers people by giving them real-time access to accurate and consistent data while increasing overall process efficiency. And this is accomplished through Microsoft CRM's dashboards and other analytical tools. And again, the purpose of these tools that I've shown you today is to make life easier. It makes life easier by giving us the tools we need to act on our data more effectively. So this concludes our webinar, Driving Business with Dashboards. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly. Again, my name is Steve Densley, and my number is 801-428-1160, or feel free to send me an email, steve@customerdynamics.com. Again, I'd like to thank you for your time today, and we wish you well.